Hello and welcome to the Drishti IAS Simplified program. Our today's topic is some important environmental glossaries. We will cover this topic through the following points: environmental laws, important terminologies, and biogeochemical cycles. So let's start with the first one. Wildlife Protection Act 1972 under the environmental laws. Its objective is to protect wild animals, birds, plants, and matters related to them. Bodies constituted under this act are National Board for Wildlife. Its chairman is Prime Minister, while Vice Chairperson is Minister of Environment, Forest and Climate Change. The other one is Central Zoo Authority. Its chairperson is Minister of Environment, Forest and Climate Change. The next is National Tiger Conservation Authority or NTCA. Its chairperson is Minister of Environment, Forest and Climate Change. And the last one is Wildlife Crime Control Bureau or WCCB. Note that NTCA and WCCB were created through amendment in Wildlife Protection Act in 2006. There are 6 schedules under this act for the protection of plants and animals. Schedule 1 and 2, Absolute Protection, highest penalties for violation. Schedule 3 and 4, Protected, lower penalties. Schedule 5 includes vermin animals which can be hunted. Vermin animals are small wild animals that carry disease and destroy plants and food. It contains only 4 species of wild animals: common crows, fruit bats, rats, mice. And the last Schedule 6 includes endemic plants that are prohibited from cultivation and planting. Now the next one is Environment Protection Act 1986. Its objective is to protect, improve the environment and reduce pollution. It was enacted after the Bhopal gas tragedy in 1984. It authorizes the central government to control the reduced pollution from all sources. It provides procedures for setting standards of emission or discharge of environmental pollutants. Now let's move on to the next point, important terminologies. The first one is ecology. It was first coined by the German biologist Ernst Haeckel in 1869. The father of ecology in India was Ramdev Misra. Misra formulated the first postgraduate course in ecology in India. Due to his efforts, the Government of India established the National Committee for Environmental Planning and Coordination in 1972. In later years, it paved the way for the establishment of the Ministry of Environment and Forests in 1984. He was honored with the prestigious Sanjay Gandhi Award in Environment and Ecology. Ecology refers to the scientific study of the relationship of living organisms with each other and with their environment. Ecology is basically concerned with 4 levels of biological organization, which are organisms, populations, communities, and biomes. The next one is ecosystem. An ecosystem is a structural and functional unit of nature. It comprises abiotic and biotic components. Abiotic components are inorganic materials like air, water, and soil, while biotic components are producers, consumers, and decomposers. In the ecosystem, abiotic and biotic components interact with each other. Classification of natural system: terrestrial ecosystem like forest, grassland and desert, etc. Aquatic ecosystem like pond, lake, wetland, river and estuary, etc. Crop fields and an aquarium may also be considered as man-made ecosystems. Entire biosphere is regarded as a global ecosystem. The next one is ecotone. Ecotone is a transition zone between 2 or more ecosystems like mangrove forests, wetlands, estuary, grassland, marshland, etc. Mangrove forests are ecotone between marine and terrestrial ecosystems. Wetlands are ecotone between aquatic and terrestrial ecosystem, while estuary are ecotone between freshwater and saltwater. Grassland are ecotone between forest and desert, and the marshland are ecotone between land and aquatic ecosystem. Now let's know the features of ecotone. It may be narrow or wide. It is a zone of tension. It may contain some organisms which are entirely different from those found in adjoining areas. The next one is edge effect. It refers to the changes in population or community structures that occur at ecotone. The species found in ecotone are called edge species. The next one is habitat. It is the physical environment in which an organism lives, like forest, ocean, river, etc. It fulfills the requirements of the organism for its survival. Various species may have the same address, like ocean is habitat of whale, a seahorse, seal, phytoplankton, etc. Earth has 4 major habitats: terrestrial, freshwater, estuarine, and ocean. The other one is niche. The functional features of a species and its habitat is called niche. Habitat of a species is like its address, that is where it lives, whereas niche is defined as the role played by an organism in an ecosystem. No two species in a habitat can have the same niche. Niche is a subset of habitat. There may be many niches in one habitat, like the 3 species of warbler birds feed in different parts of a tree. Black-Burnian warbler feeds at top of the tree. Bay-breasted warbler feeds in middle of tree, and martel warbler feeds in lower parts of the tree. Here, a tree is habitat which is the same for all 3 species, while different parts of the trees are niche, which is unique to each species. The other terminology is food chain. Transfer of nutrients and energy from producers to consumers at different trophic levels is called the food chain, like grass, goat, man. Each level in a food chain is called a trophic level. The other one is food web. Many food chains make food web. It represents all the possible paths of energy flow in an ecosystem. In a food web, a trophic level is connected to many food chains. The other one is ecosystem services. Products of ecosystem processes are called ecosystem services, like purification of air and water by forests. The next is in situ conservation. When animal and plants are conserved in their natural habitat is called in situ conservation, like national parks and sanctuaries, biosphere reserves, nature reserves. The other one is ex situ conservation. Conserving animals and plants outside of their natural habitat is called ex situ conservation, like zoological parks, botanical gardens, and wildlife safari parks, etc. In this approach, threatened animals and plants are taken out from their natural habitat and placed in zoological parks, botanical gardens, etc., where they can be protected and given special care. The next terminology is keystone species. The species which is considered more important in determining the presence of many other species in that ecosystem is called keystone species, like tiger, lion, crocodile, elephant, etc. And the last terminology is hotspot. Some areas are more rich in species than others. Areas rich in species diversity are called hotspots of diversity. In order to concentrate resources on those areas that are most vulnerable, IUCN has identified certain areas as biodiversity hotspots. Now let's move on to the next point, biogeochemical cycles. Biogeochemical cycle is a pathway by which nutrients and other elements are circulated between biotic and abiotic factors. The major elements like carbon, nitrogen, oxygen, phosphorus, sulfur, etc. are circulated between biotic and abiotic factors. Now let's have a look on the types of biogeochemical cycles. Biogeochemical cycles are basically divided into 2 types. Gaseous cycles, it includes carbon, oxygen, nitrogen, and the water cycle. The next is sedimentary cycles. It includes sulfur, phosphorus, rock cycle, etc. Now let's understand the carbon cycle. The source of all carbon is carbon dioxide present in the atmosphere. It is highly soluble in water, therefore oceans also contain large quantities of dissolved carbon dioxide. Carbon is present in the atmosphere mainly in the form of carbon dioxide. Carbon cycle involves a continuous exchange of carbon between the atmosphere and organisms. Carbon from the atmosphere moves to green plants by the process of photosynthesis and then to animals. By process of respiration and decomposition of dead organic matter, it returns back to the atmosphere. It is usually a short-term cycle. The next is phosphorus cycle. Phosphorus is a major component of biological membranes, nucleic acids, and cellular energy transfer systems. Many animals also need large quantities of this element to make shells, bones, and teeth. Phosphorus is naturally found in rock, which contains phosphorus in the form of phosphates. When rocks are weathered, minute amounts of these phosphates dissolved in soil solution and are absorbed by the roots of the plants. Herbivores and other animals obtain this element from plants. The waste products and the dead organisms are decomposed by phosphate solubilizing bacteria releasing phosphorus. The last one is nitrogen cycle. Nitrogen is an essential component of protein and required by all living organisms including human beings. Our atmosphere contains nearly 79% of nitrogen, but it cannot be used directly by the majority of living organisms. There are following 5 main processes under the nitrogen cycle. 1. Nitrogen fixation. 2. Nitrification. 3. Assimilation. 4. Ammonification. And 5. Denitrification. Now let's know the nitrogen fixation. In this process, gaseous nitrogen is converted into ammonia through atmospheric fixation, industrial fixation, and bacterial fixation. The other one is nitrification. It is a process by which ammonia is converted into nitrates or nitrites by Nitrosomonas and Nitrococcus bacteria respectively. The next is assimilation. In this process, nitrogen fixed by plants is converted into organic molecules such as proteins, DNA, RNA, etc. These molecules make the plant and animal tissue. The other one is ammonification. These waste products as well as dead remains of organisms are converted back into inorganic ammonia by the bacteria. This process is called ammonification. And the last one is denitrification. Conversion of nitrates back into gaseous nitrogen is called denitrification. Denitrification is the reverse process of nitrogen fixation. So that's it for today. Stay tuned for the next session. Till then, Jai Hind.